When playing Beyblade, it's always fun to battle with your favorites, whether it's using Galaxy Pegasus, Lightning El Drago and Metal Fight Beyblade, or battling with Dranbuster or Black Shell in Beyblade X. Using your one favorite Beyblade in battle makes the experience so much more amazing. However, if we look at competitive Beyblade, using just one Beyblade isn't enough. Most of the time, you are forced to choose 3 Beyblades to use, which is referred to as a Beyblade deck, where each Beyblade must have completely different parts. For example, you can't run 2 wizard rods with one on 960 ball and the other on 360 hexa. To some, this may seem like a daunting task. Like seriously, how do you choose more than 1 or less than 3 Beyblades in a deck? Especially with completely different parts that you might not even have access to. And are the ones you choose even good to use in battle? Well, today, loyal viewers, I'm here to help you in this endeavor on how to create a deck of 3 Beyblades. But before we get deep into this, make sure you like today's video and subscribe if you haven't already, because this Beyblade journey is just getting started, and we are steadily heading toward 4,000 subs. So let's go and join the wonderful world of competitive Beyblade. First, I want to go over why you have to use 3 Beyblades in competitive formats, which delves into the Beyblade format called 3-on-3. As the name suggests, 3-on-3 is where you and your opponent bring 3 Beyblades and pick from each to use in battle. The standard way to do this is to shuffle your deck and choose whether you will be starting from the left or from the right. Once the battle has started, you start with your chosen side or first Beyblade, and then go from descending order until either player reaches 4, or if you play in the WBO, 5 points. But now to answer the most important question for newcomers. How do you choose more than 1 or less than 3 Beyblades? And with this, each individual needs to think about which Beyblade archetype they prefer or feel more comfortable with. Those archetypes being attack, stamina, defense, and balance. In Beyblade X, almost every type of Beyblade can be run all at once, to great effect. But what you really want to focus on is balance tuning your Beyblade deck. Creating the best Beyblade deck involves a lot of strategy, and unfortunately, running too much of the same Beyblade will end up having incredible risks. So to those of you who are beginners or are just getting into the competitive scene, I would recommend 1 attack, 1 stamina, and 1 balance type that is either mixed with defense and stamina or attack and stamina. The easiest Beyblades to throw into this deck would be Phoenix Wing 160 LR, Wizard Rod 360 Ball, and Cobalt Dragoon on 560 Elevate. To a lot of competitive players watching this, it is probably one of the most boring and also widely used Beyblade decks. So if this isn't your style, I don't blame you. There are a plethora of other decks that you can use, so this isn't just the end-all be-all. And for the experienced players in battle, I'm sure many of you have your favorite Beyblade archetypes, but I have some spicy recommendations that I think you guys should try out as well. One deck that I want to recommend to the experienced players or those of you who are newcomers will be a deck that focuses on the attack type archetype. And the Beyblades that we'll be using for this deck are Tyrannobeat on 970 Rush, Whale Wave on 960 Low Rush, and Wizard Rod on 360 or 960 Level. It's a deck that will score you a ton of points, and honestly, one that requires quite a bit of skill to use as well. And one thing you might notice about deck building now is that it requires a ton of Beyblade parts to mess around with. Thankfully, the sponsor of the channel, Baylocker, has got you covered. Not only can you build your own Beyblade deck part by part and get them shipped out super fast, but if you use my code JacobPom, you can get 8% off your order. So if you're looking to make the best Beyblade deck possible in Beyblade X with the best parts, click the link in the description and you will definitely not regret it. And good luck to those of you starting your Beyblade X competitive journey. But this leads me to another important aspect of deck building actually. Making sure that you test test and test. Figuring out which parts go best with your preferred playstyle can be pretty hard to narrow down. I also don't think looking at the Beyblades that have won the most tournaments or placed high consistently should be the default choices for players either. Everyone will have different preferences and ones that can help bring out the most skill for yourself. I also think learning what Beyblades speak to you and building around that is the best way to go about things as well. And the number one thing each player should consider is how they want to go about their battles, and which Beyblades can either keep up or adapt to that playstyle. For example, the Beyblade deck I run that has gotten me first place in 5 tournaments and also helped me go undefeated for 4 of those tournaments is Aero Pegasus 960 Rush, Impact Drake 360 Rush and 360 Cyclone, and Cobalt Dragoon 160 Elevate. The reason I mentioned Impact Drake on 360 Rush and 360 Cyclone is because I swapped between the two and also have run Aero Pegasus on Low Rush as well. And to explain the reasons why I picked these, I'm gonna go down the line bay by bay to explain it. And to start off my Beyblade deck explanation, we gotta choose my ace Beyblade, Aero Pegasus, the first Beyblade that makes up my attack-oriented deck. And while this Beyblade can be considered pay to win, and I honestly don't recommend you spending like $200 just to use this, because there are really great alternatives like Phoenix Wing and Nightmail as well. But regardless of that, this Beyblade actually has quite a high skill floor to be able to use. And the reason I chose to use this Beyblade as my main attacker is because it's really good into stamina type Beyblades like Wizard Rod, and also really great into other attack type Beyblades like Phoenix Wing. I paired this powerful blade with the Ratchet 960 and the bit Rush. These parts together make a well-balanced attacker with great stamina to continuously output strong attacks. And I actually decided to switch up the combo to Aero Pegasus 160 Low Rush. Not only does this give me a lot of staying power in the stadium, but gives me amazing attack power to punish any Beyblade my opponent throws at me. But next is a Beyblade that I did a whole video on, Cobalt Dragoon on Elevate. Lately I've been using Cobalt Dragoon 160 Elevate and 560 Elevate, and both combos do ridiculously well. Not only is this the first left spin Beyblade, but it is also one of the only Beyblades that can actually spin steel and have good LAD basically. And although Cobalt Dragoon, the blade, isn't very remarkable on its own, the parts on it really turn it into a monster. The Ratchet 160 and 560 and the bit Elevate are quite possibly some of the best combinations for this Beyblade. Not only can Cobalt Dragoon Elevate tank attack type hits, but it can also outspin almost any defense and stamina type Beyblade as well, which the only counters for this are either to aim for a burst or launch your stamina type so strongly that you can also spin steel off of Cobalt Dragoon. So overall, this combo really does balance my attack type deck and provide me the extra oomph to really go ham in the tournaments. But the last Beyblade combo in my deck is one most people have yet to grow accustomed to, Impact Drake. The Forbidden Beyblade, which weighs in at a heavy 39 grams and is an all-out attacker that can be used on most heavy reliant attack setups. The reason I chose 360 and settled on the bit Cyclone was to give Impact Drake its extra oomph in battle. The full combination threatens Cobalt Dragoon on Elevate and most Pierce stamina blades as well. It can actually do pretty great in attack versus attack matchups too, which is just wonderful, honestly. And this Beyblade is in a certain category of attack types that other attackers can line up in as well. So if you don't want to use Impact Drake, I think Dran Buster, Well Wave, and Shark Edge might be a great option to consider besides this. And hopefully the reasons I stated just now for my own Beyblade X deck can help give you some insight on how to best go about constructing your own Beyblade X deck. I don't think what I use is best for everyone, especially since I use Aero Pegasus, because it's hella expensive, guys. I genuinely don't recommend buying this Beyblade unless you like want it and only have to pay like $10-15 for shipping, or you're really just that ballin'. But I hope you guys found all of this information about Beyblade X deck building helpful in a lot of ways. And let me know in the comments below what Beyblade X deck you plan on using, or if you're a competitive player that has been using a certain Beyblade X deck, let me know what you guys have been already like building in the comments below, or what your favorite Beyblade X deck is. So many questions, I know, but that's what happens when you have so many Beyblades, right? And again, deck building is one of the most important parts of Beyblade. I would even say that it's about 20-25% of the skill required in Beyblade X. So I genuinely hope you guys found any of this helpful, and good luck on your Beyblade journey, whether it be strictly for fun or to reach the top of Beyblade X. So yeah, guys, make sure to comment below your stuff, subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video because it helps out a ton. And again, thank you guys so much for all the support you guys have been giving me, because it means the most. It means the world. And hopefully you're able to watch some of the Beyblade X live streams that I've been doing either on twitch.tv/thejacobpomegranate or on YouTube just right here, because I've been live streaming some Beyblade X tournaments that happen over here in Los Angeles, California. And the next video is gonna be a tournament video, so you already know to get hyped and ready. So yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and remember to keep on spinning.